Hi everyone, welcome back to the Math Society. So this week we'll be do some questions from past paper for chapter 5, which is equations, inequality, and graphs. So now let's start off with question 1. So now we're looking at question 1, which is that on the axis below you need to sketch the graph. So they have an equation of graph y equal to -3 bracket x minus 2 x minus 4 x plus 1 that shows the coordinates of the points where the curve intersects the coordinate axis. So we see like 3x's, so we know that it's going to be a cubic graph, and we can see the intersects already, which is x minus 2. If you equal it into like 0, you'll get like 2, which means it's intersecting at 2, which we can draw here. And then it's also intersecting at 4 because we have a root x minus 4. And then we have x plus 1, so it's going to intersect at -1. And because we know that it's cupid, so we know how to draw like a general cupid shape of graph, and we know that it's -3, so we know that it's going to be a -1. And for now, we have to find like the coordinates for the y-axis, like where it's going to exist at y. So we'll have x equals to 0 to find y. So like when x is equal to 0, then y should be -3, 0 minus 2, 0 minus 4, and 0 plus 1, yeah? So you'll have -3, which is -2, and then you'll have -4, and you have 1. So it's going to be -3, -2, -4, multiply 1, which is -24. So we know that it's going to intersect at -24. So we just put -24 here, and we'll try to draw a cubic graph. So I'm going to try my best to make it symmetrical. You just go in and just go down. Yep, and this is your cubic graph. So you just write the equation, which is y equal to -3, x minus 2, and there was x minus 4, and then x plus 1. Yep, and that's your graph. And then we'll look at question B. So now hence we need to find a value for which -3, this whole equation is greater than 0. So we need to know where it is greater than 0. So we'll just go back to look at the graph. So we have like, if it's like +1, like -1, so it's like greater than 0, it's going to be less than 0. So we know that it's going to be like this side that it's going to go away from, right? So we know that x is going to be less than -1. And for greater than 0, we know that 2 and 4, it's going to be like between here if it's like 0, greater than 0, because it's like x minus 2 greater than 0, then it's like +2 greater than 0. So it's going to be like 2 there. So it's just going to be in between them, which is going to be like x is going to be between 2 and then 4. And that's how you can like determine it looking at from the graph. And now we'll look at 2. So it says that it already shows a diagram of a graph of a cubic curve. So we know that it's a cubic curve. We just need to find like an expression of f of x. So it's basically asking you to like find the equation. So it's going to be like a different one that we did from question 1. So here we already see like the 3 roots here. So we know that it's in the negative side. We know it's going to be x plus 2 and then x plus 1, yeah? And then we know that it's going to be like -5, so it's going to be x minus 5. So for now, we know this, but then the thing is, because it's a cubit, we know that there's going to be one coefficient at the front. But we have the value of y, which is 5. So we can actually try to like solve this, like using this y value to solve the x exit. So then it's going to be like 5, which is going to be, we're gonna have 0 plus 2, 0 plus 1, and then 0 minus 5. So then you'll have 2, 1, minus 5. So it's basically you'll get like -5 and then 2, which is like -10, 5. So you'll get -half for y, -half for the coefficient, yeah? So then you can just write it as like f of x equals to -half, x plus 2, x plus 1, x minus 5, and that will be your equation. And the same thing is that you need to solve for less than 0. So we know that to get less than 0, because it's like you have to you have to do like an opposite way again. So for less than 0, we see that -2, -1, we know that it's just going to be between them because it's like going down here. So it's going to be between -2 and then -1. And then 5 as well, it's going down here. So it's like when it's greater than 5, it's gonna go down. It's gonna go, yeah, down. So which is 0. So it's like less than 0. So it'll be like x greater than or equal to 5. And that's going to be your answer. Yep, so now we'll do question 3, which is that on the x's below, you need to sketch a graph of y equal to x minus 2, x plus 1, x plus 1, x plus, but we know that it has to be strictly positive, which is to show the coordinate of points where the curve made the exit. So we'll do it as usual. We have x minus 2, which means it's going to intersect at 2. And then you're going to have plus 1 plus 2, so it's -1 minus 2. Yep, and then we need to find the y. So it's just going to be like 0, 0, 0. So you get -2, 1, and plus 1. 2. So you have like a -4 because it is strictly 0, you're going to have 4. So it's going to be here, like 4. And we're going to try to draw it because it usually has to go on a curve, like downwards curve. But now it's going to be upward curve because it says it has to be strictly positive. So we're going to do this first because it's going to be like positive. And because it cannot go down, it needs to curve upwards back. And you can just label this, which is y equal to x minus 2. And then x plus 2. Yep, and that's it. And then we have this one, which is 4. This is a graph to sketch the graph of y equal to minus x plus 2, x minus 1, x minus x. So firstly, we can write down the x-axis first, which is plus 2. It means it's going to be -2. And then you have -1, which is 1. And -6, which is going to be 6. And then we can just find the y as well. So it's just going to be 0, 0, 0. We have 2, but there's minus here, -1. You have -6. So it's going to be like 2, 6, going to be 24, or -24. Oh, sorry, 12. So it's going to be like -12. And it's another minus, so it's still going to be -12. So you're going to have here -12. And then this is because it's not strictly positive. We can just do it as how we draw a parabola. So it's just going to be this way. Typically, but out this way. And we just label it. So which is y equal to minus x plus 2, x minus 1, and this is x minus 6. This is how you label it. And then it's the same thing, just solve this one which is less than 0. We find which is less than 0. Yeah. And then here. So we know that it's going to be x is going to be between -2 and then 1. And then x is going to be greater than or equal to 6. Yep. And now let's do number 5. So 5 is that it shows where y equals to, which is positively, strictly positive, and where p of is a cubic. So we know that's cubic, so we have like 4 integers, which is like here. We have x plus 2, x plus 1. Then here's 4, so we have x minus 4. And then we have 24 as y. So we just need to find like the coefficient, right? So we already have 24 goes to, if we put like when x is equal to 0, it's 24. So we just put zeros in, so it's gonna be like 2, 1, -4. It's gonna be like -8, 24. So it's gonna be -3. So the coefficient is just going to be -3. It's gonna be -3. But you can put it like plus, you have to put it like plus or -3 because it's like y equal to p of x, but then they ask for like a root for just p of x, so it can be plus minus 3. So you're going to y equal to plus or minus 3. And there we have 6, which is showing the graph that y equal to f of x, and it's the same thing. So we just try to do the x, do the points where it crosses the x-axis first. So we have -5, so it's going to be x plus 5, x plus 1, and then x minus 2. So it's the same way, so you can actually use 5, right? So it's gonna be like 5, 1, minus 2. So it's gonna be like minus 10, 5. So it's like minus half again. So it'll be like f of x equals to minus half x plus 5, x plus 1, x minus 2. And then we find a due date less than 0. So we just go less than 0, less than 0. So we just take it's between minus 5 and then minus 1, and it has to be x greater than 2. So f of x will be less than 0. Yep, so now it's number 7 where we have to sketch the graph again, which is why I go to x minus 2, x plus 1, 3 minus x. So we know the x-axis again, so which is going to be x minus 2 is going to be 2. And then 3 minus x is going to be like 3 as well. And then you have x plus 1, so it's going to be minus 1. Now let's find the y value of it. So you'll put all 0 with minus 2. You have 1, and you have like minus 3. So you have a minus 6. So 3 minus 0, sorry. 3 minus 0. So it's gonna be like 3. So you have like, yeah, minus 6. Then you'll have minus 6 here. So it's just going to like go down again as well. And just do this. And then just label it as well, which is why I call it x minus 2, x plus 1, and it's just 3 minus x. Yep, and then we have to write down a value, so it's greater than 0. 1 is greater than 0. So it's going to be like the upper part, so we know it's going to be here. In between here, so it's just here. So it's going to be x less than minus 1. And then x is going to be between 2 and 3. So it's like 2 x and then 3. Yep. And then we'll move on to number 8, which is that, and you need to find the give of y equal to f of x, where f of x is equal to a, x plus b, the whole square, x plus c. A, b, and c are integers, so we need to find the value of a, b, and c. So we can find b and c first because we know that they're going to be like x intersection points, which is here minus 1 and you have 1. So we know that if it's a square, you can see that it's at the minus 1 place because you can see that it goes like 2 ways. It intersects in that place only. So it's going to be like b going to be equal to like 1. And then c, we know that it intersects here, so it's going to be like minus 1. So if only it's x minus 1 equals 0, it'll become x equal to 1. So we have to find a. So we can find like, we have f of x that's equal to like y equal to minus 2. We can just like put it in as it is, like minus 2. And then you have like x plus b was 1. So it's like 0 plus 1. And then it's gonna be like 0 minus 1. So you get minus 1. So you still get minus 1 minus 2, and you get 2. So then the coefficient a is just going to be 2. So to write it better, you'll get a equal to 2, b equal to 1, and then c equal to minus 1. Yep. And then they ask you to solve the inequality of f of x less than or equal to minus 1. So to solve the f of x, we need to find the intersection point where all of them are intersecting. So we'll just try to see a line here. So here you can see that each and every one of them is like crossing here. So you can usually just that line. Draw a line here. And then we'll just try to read the values here. These. So this one's at minus 1.45 kind of. And here it's around minus 0.4. And then here is around here, yeah. So that's kind of 0.85. Yep. So we know we have to find the value for when it is less than or equal to minus 1. So you have less than or equal to minus 1. We go down. And then we go here. So then now we know how our x value has to be. It has to be less than minus 1.45. So x has to be less than or equal to minus 1.45, or x has to be between the two values, which is minus 0.4 and 0.85. 0.85. And we can see here it has to be like less than minus 1, yeah? So here's the line, which is minus 1, so it just has to be less than that, and you can see here. Yep. And then let's go into question 9. So question 9, it tells you to sketch the graph as well. Y equal to 5, x plus 1, 3x minus 2, x minus 2. So we can firstly, label the x-axis first. So we have x minus 2, so it's going to be at 2. And then you're going to have 2x minus 2, so it's like 2 by 3. And then you have x plus 1, so it's going to be minus 1. And then we're going to have to find y. So we're going to like 5, 1, minus 2, minus 2. We're like 5. 5, 4, 20. Yep. It's going to be like here, 20. And then we just have to draw a parabola as well. Oh, yeah. And then we just label it y equals to 5, x plus 1, 3x minus 2, and x minus 2. Yep. And then we move on to find the value of x, which greater than 0. So we know it has to be greater than 0. So it's going to be just here and then here, because it's going to be greater than 0. So we'll have x value that is between minus 1 and 2 by 3. And then we have x value that's going to be greater than 2. Yeah, so now for number 10, we have that the 3 roots of px equal to 0, where p of x is equal to, you have an equation already, which is 5x cubed plus ax squared plus bx minus 2, and that are equal to x equal to minus 1.1 by 5, x equal to n, and x equal to n plus 1. And where a and b has to be positive integers, but n has to be a negative integer. So we have to find p of x that simplify our coefficient. So basically we know that's going to be like n. So we can write down that it's 5x minus 1, x minus 1, and it's going to be n plus 1, so it's going to be x minus n minus 1. And then we can just multiply it to get an n. So it's going to be like minus n squared minus n, that's going to equal to minus 2 because we have the minus 2. And then we just simplify, which is going to be like n squared plus n minus 2, because minus 2 is going to come to the left side. So you're going to have n plus 2 and then n minus 1. So that's going to be like 0 because we're using the cross method, yeah? So then you'll have n is equal to minus 2 or n is equal to 1. And because we know that n has to be a negative integer, we're gonna take the minus 2 and we're gonna reject the positive 1. Yep, and then we already know the value of n, we can substitute it. So it's gonna be 5x minus 1, x minus n, so it's gonna be like x plus 2, yeah, because it's minus 2. And then we have it as well, x plus 2, and then that's minus 1. So you're gonna have like 5x minus 1. And then it's going to be, oh wait, sorry, this one's out of the bracket. 5x minus 1, you're going to have 5x minus 1, x plus 2, then you have x plus 1. And you just all multiply it. So you're going to have 5x squared plus 10x minus x minus 2. And that's going to be one side first. And then we're going to solve the behind one after, yeah? It's going to be 5x squared plus 9x minus 2. And it's going to be 1, x plus 1. And then we're going to multiply them now. So it's going to be 5x cubed plus 5x squared plus 9x squared plus 9x minus 2x minus 2. So it's going to be 5x cubed plus 9, 5, so the 14x squared, yeah, plus 7x, minus 2. And then we just need to write it in the form back, which is going to be like 5x squared plus ax squared plus bx minus 2. So now we know that we just need the answer for a and b, which are positive integers. So it's going to be like a equals to 14 and b is equal to 7. Yep, and that's it for today's video.